Shalom Israel, it's your brother Shaquat, sons and daughter Israelites. Since we're in Passover, I want to go over a little lesson of the topic is leaven. And I'm not really speaking about like bread or anything like that. Talking about, issues that you might have with somebody, or, things that you might be going through, things that have held close to your heart. Somebody says something to you and you haven't dealt with it, stuff like that. So I want to get a definition from the Zondervan Compact Dictionary. The definition of leaven: symbol of moral influence, whether good or bad. So some examples of leaven, let's say, is like gossip. Like I said earlier, having problems with somebody that you haven't really, dealt with yet. Sexual desires, having too much pride, stuff like that. Stuff that when you come into the truth, you gotta change. So with that, I want to start off with 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, verse 14. And it reads, "Let go from your moral thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature." So it's let go from your moral thoughts. Like I said, I keep saying this and it makes so much sense. Us coming into this Passover, New Year, new you, right? So you got to get rid of those moral thoughts of people that you have, and I'm going to be saying this throughout the lesson because it makes sense to me. All the moral thoughts, all the bad things that you have against somebody, you got to get rid of that. You got to, go apologize. If you did something to them, if they did something to you, go say, I accept your apology, or I just want to move on from this, or, whatever the case may be, but make it right, cast away the burdens of man, so what's a burden? Something that's holding you down, right? If this situation is holding you down and is keeping you from moving on, like I said, go talk to the brother, man, so you can just get your stuff off your chest and he can accept it. He don't have to accept it, or she don't have to accept it, but you became the bigger person and became more wise, and try to get this stuff off your chest so they know how you feel and y'all can move on from it. Then it says, put off now the weak nature. So don't think that just because you go and apologize to somebody that makes you weak. It actually makes you a little more wise. Makes you have wisdom. Because you're going and you're trying to be that bigger person. You're not trying to fight. You're not trying to argue. You just want to say, I apologize for whatever I did to you, and I hope we can make amends and keep it moving. So next, how can we get rid of the leaven? How can we get the leaven out of us? I gave a couple of examples out in 2nd Esdras, but I'm gonna read Colossians 3, verse 8 through 10. And it reads, "But now ye also put off all these angers, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communications out of your mouth." So again, the leaven that we holding on to, the anger that we holding on to, the stuff that we say about people, the malice that we have, people can hold on to something so for so long, like it makes you sick. You know what I mean? Somebody can do something to you and you just held on to it for so long, it makes you sick. You start to think, terrible thoughts of people. So what Paul is saying is that we got to get rid of that stuff. Verse 9, "Lie not one to another." Don't sit here and lie you know, to me, to whoever, if I come up to you and I'm like, hey man, you know, is there an issue? Did I do something to you? And you're like, nah, we good. Don't lie, because you don't want to know confrontation or anything like that. Just be like, you know, I didn't like how you did this. I didn't like that move, or you know, you did this to me, and you know, I didn't appreciate it. You know, as a man, I'm supposed to be accepted. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's figure something out so we can move on from it, right? And it says, lie not, one to another, seeing that ye put off the old man with his seeds, Salakia, with his deeds, verse 10, and have put on the new man. So with the old stuff that you're getting rid of, you putting on a new you. You know, I said it before, a new year, new you, right? Which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. So we want to move in wisdom, right? We want to move in wisdom. We don't want to be the old, you know, the old Shaquat. We want to move forward and be the new Shaquat in the way the Most High wants us to. Says, which is renewed to knowledge after the image of him that created him. You know, the Most High created us, and in order for us to have knowledge, we got to follow what he tells us to do, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. So if we want to come into the into Passover with a new me, new you, or whatever it is, we got to go and get rid of the leaven, you know. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. 1 Corinthians 5. 5 and 7. And it reads, purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. So Paul is saying, you know, again, get rid of all this stuff that's making you stay away from doing what the Most High is telling you to do. Love your brother. You can't love your brother if you got a grudge against him. You know, love your sister. You can't love your sister if you got a grudge against her. If she did something to you and you just holding on to it, and you F that B and this and all that kind of stuff, like, you gotta let that go. You know what I'm saying? Again, if someone did something to you, and you know, you gotta forgive that person, man. You know, Yahushua said, you know, be like not fine, but new wine. You know, you can't take the old wine and put it in a new bottle and expect it to be brand new, you know. So with that, let's go to Mark 22 and 21. Let's bring that out. Mark 2 and 21. Where is that? Mark 2 and 21. No man also seweth a piece of new cloth on an old garment, else the new piece that filled it up taken away from the old, and the rent is made worse. Verse 22. And no man putteth new wine into old bottles, else the new wine doeth burst the bottles, and the wine is spilled, and the bottles will be marred. But new wine must be put into new bottles. So, like I said, you can't take the old wine, the old you, and try to mix it in with the new you. If you getting rid of the old you, the new you must be a new person, right? You can't go back and forth like that, right? So I'm gonna get Galatians 5 and 9, because they say, you know, the littlest thing can turn out, you know, so big, and somebody hurting you or whatnot. can turn into something way bigger than what it actually is if you keep that stuff inside you. So I'm going to read Galatians 5, verse 9. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. I'm going to read that again. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So again, something so small that you had affect you can become this huge problem, way bigger than what you are expecting. Like I said, people get sick off issues that they've had, things that they've gone through. It changes your whole mentality on life. But we gotta try to, when we come into the truth, we gotta try to get rid of all the leaven. Tell somebody that you're sorry for what you did, or accept their apology for what they did. Like I said, it's the Passover, it's a new year, and we got to get all the leaven out of us, all the hate, all the lying, all the gossiping, all the sexual things that we be thinking about people, sexual desires. We got to get all that out of us. So with that, I'm gonna end it. I'm Brother Shaquat. I hope you learned something from this. I represent the Sons of Thunder Israelites. Oh man, Sons of Thunder Israelites. All right, Shalom.